Idinensa ni Senador Alan Peter Cayetano at iba pang kinatawan ng Pilipinas ang kampanya kontra iligal na droga sa United Nations. Pinalawanag nila sa Human Rights Council sa Switzerland kung bakit pinairal ang gera kontra droga. Kasama na rito ang lumalakas na operasyon ng mga drug lord. Sabi pa ni Cayetano, isinasama kasi ng ilang grupo ang halos lahat ng patayan bilang extrajudicial killings sa ilalim ng war on drugs. Idiniin ni Cayetano na hindi state-sponsored ang mga patayan. May rehabilitation program din ang gobyerno para sa mga sumuko. Sa Universal Periodic Review, sinusuri ang bawat human rights record ng lahat ng member states ng United Nations. Ibinaling pa ni Cayetano ang paglobo ng kontrobersya sa umano'y disinformation campaign ng ilang grupo. Ginamit daw ang ilang sinasabing alternative facts at fake news na siya namang nakarating sa international organizations.
Addressing the drug problem is a necessary step to achieve the Philippine economic long-term goal and in realizing the Filipino aspiration of a secure environment. Let us now listen to the presentation on how the state has thus far acted on the problem from key fronts. Law enforcement, because the drug problem in the Philippines is now a national security threat. Rehabilitation, because the drug problem is a health issue. Reintegration of reformed drug personalities as productive members of the community, and the collaboration of efforts of state authorities in the anti-drug campaign. Our next presenter is Department of Interior and Local Government Assistant Secretary
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. From the very start of the Duterte administration, the all-out campaign against illegal drugs has always been an issue of both law enforcement and rehabilitation as directed by our President. On the law enforcement, the Philippine National Police takes the lead. It started with the Oplan Double Barrel, which tasks the entire police force to apply a two-pronged approach in eradicating the illegal drugs predicament. The two-pronged approach is manifested in Oplan Tokhang. Tokhang comes from the words Tok Tok and Hangyo, which means knock and plead. And Project High Value Target, with the former focusing on demand and the latter on supply reduction. Oplan Tokhang is a practical and realistic means of accelerating the drive against illegal drugs in affected communities. This involves house-to-house visitations to persuade technically suspected but grassroots validated illegal drug personalities to stop their illegal drug activities. On the other hand, Project High Value Target is a police intervention mechanism to neutralize those in the watch list who did not surrender and those who surrender but still continue to engage in illegal drug activities. This includes higher personalities in the supply chain of the drug trade. An overwhelming number of illegal drug personalities, both users and pushers, surrendered to the authorities as a result of the operation. As of date, a total of 1,266,966 individuals surrendered for screening and referral to appropriate intervention centers. In our analysis of the results of the screening of the drug surrenderers, about 98% need community-based intervention, being considered as occasional users or outpatients. The remaining 2% are classified as high-risk cases and shall be given center-based intervention as inpatients, which focuses on higher health needs. The Dangerous Drug Board, through Board Resolution Number 4, Series of 2016, entitled Oplan Sagip, Guidelines in Voluntary Surrender of Drug Users and Dependents, and Monitoring Mechanisms of Barangay Anti-Drug Abuse Campaigns, has developed a protocol for handling drug surrenderers in joining different departments of the national government, law enforcement agencies, anti-drug abuse councils, cause-oriented non-government organizations, and faith-based organizations to better address the drug emergency. This is to use a more organized mechanism that must be followed when dealing with drug personalities who voluntarily surrender to authorities. The most critical part of the said protocol is the risk assessment. Surrenders go through the initial documentation stage of profiling, which involves interviews to get one's personal background and to verify if he or she has a pending case. The surrenderer to be assessed has to sign an affidavit of undertaking and a waiver allowing the conduct of the assessment, a physical and medical examination, and drug test. the Duterte administration has developed a mechanism of collaboration between different government agencies to address the immensity of the number of surrenderers, which is considered as a drug emergency. This mechanism has 3 clusters or phases. Cluster 1 for profiling and screening, Cluster 2 for rehabilitation, which consists of inpatient and outpatient approaches, and Cluster 3 for aftercare. The Department of Health is the lead agency for Cluster 1, as determining the items included in the checklist of the profiling and screening process and other steps therein require medical expertise. The Department of Interior and Local Government is the lead agency for Cluster 2, specifically in the facilitation aspect. The Department of Health is responsible for the operational aspect, particularly of rehabilitation centers. Cluster 2 consists of 2 parts. The community-based rehabilitation program, which is the outpatient approach, and the establishment of the drug abuse treatment and rehabilitation centers nationwide, which is the inpatient approach. The Department of Social Welfare and Development is the lead agency for Cluster 3, as the phase involves personal growth and social security programs such as employment, opportunities, and skills development, which will help in the reintegration process with the community of a former drug personality. The Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, or BJMP, has likewise developed a barangay-based rehabilitation program, or BBRP, with a therapeutic community and modality program. This is the core of its development thrust. The BBRP is a self-help social learning treatment model employed by clients with various problems and other antisocial tendencies. To address the shortage of drug rehabilitation centers in the country, the President signed Executive Order Number 4, which provides for the establishment of additional drug abuse treatment and rehabilitation centers throughout the country and mandated an interagency task force composed of 7 agencies to work together in order to address the problem of lack of rehabilitation centers. The task force was already able to facilitate the establishment of a 10,000 patient mega drug rehabilitation center in the province of Nueva Ecija last November of 2016. To date, the interagency task force was able to secure commitment from non-government institutions of close to $100 million in donations. Truly, the construction of Board Drug Rehabilitation Center has gotten the support of our business and private sector partners. For the community-based rehabilitation centers, aside from the anti-drug abuse programs implemented by our various local governments, just recently, various faith-based organizations have already committed to work hand-in-hand with the government to help the drug surrenderers, the outpatients, in rehabilitating and reintegrating them back to society. With the comprehensive approach of law enforcement and rehabilitation, our government was able to cut supply of illegal drugs by at least 12%, demand by 26.45%, and disrupted the distribution channel by having at least 88,940 drug pusher or salesmen surrendering to government. The positive impact to us, reduction of at least 30% of focused crimes committed in our country compared to the previous years. The Philippines is gaining ground in addressing the ills brought about by the proliferation of illegal drugs in the country through the collaboration of the government, cause-oriented non-government organizations, and faith-based organizations. Now it is very clear to us that a drug-free Philippines is indeed achievable. Thank you and good morning.
That presentation provided us the context on how various government agencies and other sectors